Hi everyone, I'm Stan from Eagle Vision, here again with Peter Motalli from Optimal Property Group, and we're talking about construction management. So last time we talked about some of the common mistakes when you're starting up and getting some of the feasibility elements going, whereas now we're talking to consultants and starting to appoint a builder. So Peter, I guess, what happens in the appointing team stage?
Yeah, well, at this stage you should be appointing all your consultants, so your team basically, so your architect, engineers, hydraulic engineers, and so on and so on. So these are the people you have on side in preparing the documentation, but also you'll have them for advice, consultation during the process of the build. Obviously during the construction phase, the engineers sometimes come into play in doing a redesign or some alterations. So they'll all basically all work together with the architect.
Yep, great. And so what about authorities? How much do you have to deal with authorities at this stage?
Again, so this is where you'd want to sort of contact all the authorities. So your drainage, sewer, stormwater, power supply, all these different authorities you need to consult and contact them at this point, because these are the authorities that some of these consultants will be talking to in their preparation for documentation.
Fair enough. And what are, I guess, some of the common mistakes at this stage of the game?
Yeah, some of the mistakes is appointing the wrong consultant. Like I said prior, you don't want to get an engineer who does multi-story buildings in if you're doing a dual lock, or vice versa. So you want to get the right consultant. Obviously, seeing where their experience is at is one good thing, and also being able to talk to them and get advice, because they're the ones that you're sort of relying on, their professionalism to give you the advice along the way.
Okay, fair enough. And what is something else, I guess, requirements for a certificate of occupancy?
Yeah.
How much do you have to think about this?
Yeah, well, these are the things, this is where the certificate that you probably need a bit later on, but some of these certificate of occupancy is something you're going to need when the project is completed, but probably not at this stage. But you will need the right consultants. So having, for instance, the fire brigade involved, if you're doing an apartment building, they need to have a fire service part of it. So all these authorities you need to speak to, because you won't get your CFO or certificate of occupancy if these things aren't ticked off by the authorities.
Right. And then what about mistakes in preparation of the site?
Yeah, again, not having the right information. So one of the things we touched on earlier on is your soil report. With the authorities, you'll be able to engage with your power supply. Sometimes it needs to be upgraded, sometimes your telecommunications needs to be put into the property, needs to be upgraded. All these things you also want to know, because there are costs towards these things.
Of course.
And also you want to do it so it sort of streamlines the project. You don't want to sort of leave things till last when you've laid concrete and all of a sudden telecommunications says, well, look, we're going to need to do an upgrade. We're needing to rip up the concrete, So you want to sort all that out prior.
Yep, I understand. Very good. Look, this is all the time that we have in this particular video. Next one is when we actually start to get on site. Thanks again for watching.